So today we're going to break down a short but incredibly powerful poem. It's all about one of the most fundamental relationships there is, a father and a son. But, this isn't some happy story. It's really a deep dive into that silent, painful gap that can grow between two people, even when they're living under the very same roof.
Right from the get-go, the poem just hits you with this raw, heartbreaking confession. We're immediately dropped right into the father's confusion. He doesn't say he dislikes his son or that he's angry. He says he doesn't understand him. And that, you could argue, is even more painful.
And that really kicks off the first big idea in this poem, this strange paradox of living side by side with someone who feels like a total stranger.
This really captures that contradiction perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got the simple fact, they live in the same house they have for years. But on the other hand, you have the feeling, we speak like strangers. It's like emotionally the wire's been completely cut.
Wow, that line is just devastating. It's not just that they aren't talking, it's that the very air between them feels empty. That silence has become its own character, this heavy presence in their home.
Okay, so let's dive into the father's head for a minute. The poem gives us this really intimate look into his internal struggle, and it is just filled with regret and a whole lot of self-doubt.
The father is just wrestling with this awful question, Is this all my fault? He uses this amazing metaphor of planting a seed. It's like he's asking, did I somehow crush his potential? Did I kill the seed? Or did he just grow into a person so different from me that his world, the land, is a place I can never ever set foot in?
So if we put it all together, from the father's side, he's just completely isolated. He sees his son's world as this foreign country he can't get a visa for. They might share DNA, but emotionally they are worlds apart, just surrounded by all of that heavy, heavy silence.
But here's the thing, the father isn't just giving up. There's this deep, almost desperate longing for them to reconnect. And the way he thinks about it, he pulls from this really powerful classic story.
He's wishing his son would be prodigal. He wants him to come back, not just to the physical house, but to them, to the relationship they used to have, to the home he knew. It's a plea to turn back the clock to a time before this silence took over everything.
Now, to really get how heavy that word prodigal is, you have to know where it comes from. It's a shout out to that famous biblical story about a son who takes his inheritance, blows it all, and comes home with nothing, but his father welcomes him back with a huge celebration. So by wishing for this, the father is saying, I don't care what you've done or who you've become, just come home, I'll forgive everything.
And see, this is so important because it shows he's not just trying to rewind the clock. He's actually willing to take all their shared pain and sorrow and use it as the raw material to build something new. That's a really hopeful and incredibly generous wish.
Okay, so just when you think you've got this all figured out from the dad's side, bam! The poem completely flips the script. For the very first time, we hear from the son.
Just look at this parallel. It's incredible. The father's central problem, I do not understand this child, is perfectly mirrored by the son's own confession, I cannot understand myself. This changes everything. The confusion, the feeling of being lost, it isn't one-sided at all. The son is just as adrift as his father is.
And right here, the son hands us the key to unlock the whole thing. His anger, which the father probably just sees as rejection or rebellion, is actually growing from a place of deep grief. This isn't just teenage angst, it's about a shared sense of loss that is soured into anger because neither of them has a clue how to talk about it.
So this shared sadness, it all builds up to the poem's gut punch of an ending, which is captured in this one single heartbreaking image.
This final image just lays it all out for us, right? They're on the same land, physically so close, but they're trapped in this vicious cycle of grief and anger. And then they both put out an empty hand. It's a gesture of peace, but there's nothing in it. And they are both just longing for a way out, for something, anything to forgive.
And that right there is the real tragedy of this poem. It's not that they are so different, it's that they are so painfully, tragically similar. Both are confused, both are grieving, and both are desperately reaching out for a connection they just can't seem to make.
So the poem leaves us chewing on this big question. When it says they are longing for something to forgive, are they talking about forgiving each other? Or is it something deeper? A need to forgive themselves for letting the silence win, for letting this gap grow so wide? The poem doesn't give us an easy answer, and that's the point. It just leaves us with that complex, messy reality of family, forgiveness, and the silent grief we can sometimes share.
Prepared by K. Rajendra Prasad.